So you just got your hands on the all new iPhone 17 lineup. Doesn't matter if it's the iPhone 17 Pro like I have right here, or the 17 Pro Max, or even the Air and the regular 17. In this video, I'm gonna go ahead and go through the first things you should do right after you just got your hands on your all new iPhone. So of course, timestamps to everything will be in the video description down below for your pleasure. Let's get started. Now, the first thing I recommend everybody do, especially if you just got done backing up your phone, that's a weird glitch, probably reset my phone later, but go ahead and go into your settings and quickly just go into your battery. I don't know about you, but if I bought a new phone, I like to always verify to make sure that it is a new phone. So by tapping on battery, go into battery health, make sure you have 0 cycles and your battery capacity is actually at 100%. This way you know you're not getting like an iPhone that was just stored away for like a year or so. It's at 0, we're good. 100% capacity, we're happy. And then here you can see the little detail when your battery was manufactured and when it was first used. So September is the month when I picked this phone up, so quite nice. Now, if you have your spouse, family members, and stuff like that, you're all using the Find My app to make sure everybody's location's good and all. What I like to also double check is making sure that my iPhone, the current new one, is actually enabled with this new Find My feature. So just launch the Find My app. Sorry if I'm blocking this, but tap on the me icon right down here and make sure Share My Location for this device is enabled. This way, your loved ones know exactly where you're at. Now, these new iPhones, they're an OLED display. And if you're somebody who's sensitive to like the flicker effect on an OLED, a new tool that you can enable can be located in your settings. I was playing with this earlier. And if you go into accessibility, we finally have a new OLED tool. If you tap display and text size in the accessibility tab, you go down here, you'll see a new display pulse smoothing. By having this enabled, if you're somebody who's sensitive to like those black lines that typically will pop up, some people notice this, some people don't. It's definitely a lot more noticeable whenever you use a camera to record your display. It makes like those dark pixel areas. By having this enabled, it smooths it out so it's less noticeable and less irritating, especially if you're somebody who's sensitive to these type of screens. It will cause like a headache. So by having pulse width modulation enabled, it prevents that from happening. So in case you missed my CarPlay video, you know, when you take a screenshot and your phone's connected to CarPlay, it'll also take a screenshot of your CarPlay device. You can now disable that so it doesn't do that anymore. You can find this new setting in the settings tab and then just go into the general tab. And from here, scroll down into screen captures. And in here, you can see you could disable CarPlay screen capture. This way you don't take 2 screenshots if you're just trying to take a screenshot of your device. Personally, I like having it on. It helps me a lot. Sometimes I use it for video demonstration purposes, but for everybody else, this might be a useful feature to have disabled. Since we're here, another thing I like to go ahead and go over as well is the format. You can now increase the HDR format. The format instead of SDR, which is compatible on Macs and stuff like that. But if you go on HDR, this will allow the screenshot to capture more data, collecting more detail if you're trying to capture something and share it with a friend or something like that. Just will possibly take up more storage space, equivalent like you took an actual high resolution photo. But since we're here, where it says screenshot preview, you know, when you take a screenshot, this window will pop up and then it'll allow you to like circle something and use Apple Intelligence to use like quick Google results and see what's up on that screenshot. Useful if you're trying to figure out what product or what menu of a restaurant it is. It's kind of useful for that reason. You can also do image search this way as well, or text. But let's say you don't want this stuff. You just want to take a screenshot and just move on. If you disabled full screen preview, now whenever you capture a screenshot, it'll go back to the traditional layout. Then you can do a swipe to remove it, or you could tap on it to quickly just crop it out and look at it. It also gives us quick access to the preview. For me personally, I like having that disabled because most of the time I just want to take a screenshot and just move on, you know. But if you are somebody who uses the Apple visualization a lot whenever you take a screenshot, you can have these 3 enabled and will automatically highlight the things you're looking at down here. So if we had a photo of cat, it will say identify cat down here. Personal preference, I like having it off. Now, in case you missed it, whenever I'm using my keyboard, look at this. Notice how these dots, these like keyboard icons pop up. This is a feature that's disabled by default whenever you update to iOS 26. I personally like this because it allows me to actually see what I'm clicking on. So if you'd like to re-enable this on your side, simply just go into the settings and scroll down into general and go down until you find the keyboard tab. In here, enabled character preview. So by having that enabled, now your key presses actually will pop up, where before it used to look like this. Then from here you can enable haptic feedback if you don't have that enabled for each key press, or you can enable sound. Now, a question I've been getting asked a lot on my previous video is how I'm able to have the clock this big. It's actually fairly easy. Simply long hold and enter edit mode, right? From here, tap customize. And as soon as this page loads, just tap on the clock and then you should adjust the size like so. Now, if you select different fonts, it doesn't work. As you notice, the font is actually preventing it from being extended. So if you select the default font, this one is the one that gives you the ability to do this. You can also enable spatial lock screen images as well. By selecting this little icon right here, sometimes the clock can overlap a subject. This wallpaper is a horrible example, so I'm going to go create one from scratch. And here's one that was selected using Apple Intelligence. And you can see the number, the date, it's actually like behind the photo, which is pretty cinematic. And if you select spatial photo, it'll generate a special photo from that photo. And now when you rotate the image, it does like a 3D effect. It works better whenever you use a subject. So like something like this, it really does give that 3D effect, which is really nice. But you're limited on the clock. You just have to mess with it until it finds like a sweet spot. And you'll see if it selects a good one. And then just tap add. And this is how you can create those epic looking wallpapers. Now when always on display is enabled, you can have it so the wallpaper is blurred out in the background. If you'd like to enable this, go into your system settings, scroll down to display and brightness, and then go into the always on display section right in here. And right here you'll see blur wallpaper photo. Enable that. Now whenever always on display is on, your wallpaper will be blurred out. Looks really great when you use colorful wallpapers. Now the Apple Wallet app got some amazing tools. By launching the Apple Wallet app, if you have a plethora of collection of credit cards like I do right here, and you don't like to travel with your credit cards, each one of these credit cards you use, as an example, you can see the virtual credit card information right here. But if you like to store the physical card number and keep your cards all organized, click on the card number right here. It will require Face ID for you to use it. But right here, you'll see the virtual Apple Pay card. So if you're doing a return, this is where you can see the last four numbers if you paid with Apple Pay with that digital card. But on top where it says add physical card number, you could use your camera to scan it. And once you do that, you can save all your credit card information right here. So if you need to do like over a phone call transaction or verify something, you could organize all your existing physical card numbers on your Apple Wallet app and review all the information right here. Super handy. Additionally, if you're doing Apple Pay transactions on these existing cards, you know, when you click on a transaction, if you notice something is not categorized correctly, you could tap on a category, it could reverse it to something else and correct it. And you could do it for this transaction only, or you can make it the default to the other multi-transactions you have created. So you can now correct the category if it's wrong, as an example. And real quick, if you've been enjoying this video so far, if you could take 2 seconds, hit that like button and like, those really do help out the channel and allow the channel to be driven by you guys, the viewers, not brands. So thank you so much to those that continue supporting the channel by just hitting that like. Let's carry on. Now we all know how annoying it is whenever you get in your car and you have Apple CarPlay enabled, it will automatically start playing whatever media you were last listening to. Not just music, could be a YouTube video or something like that. A clever walk around that I discovered is by launching the shortcut app on your phone. And what you want to do is create an automation. So here's one that I already created, which will automatically pause whatever media that's playing as soon as it connects to CarPlay. So I'm going to start this from scratch. I'm going to delete it. And what we're going to do is tap the plus icon above here, and we want to type in CarPlay. Now, when connected to CarPlay, we want it to immediately run, and then tap next. We don't need notifications, and then click on create new shortcut. And from here, search up pause and play. So right here where it says play and pause, I'm going to click on this, and we want it to pause on the iPhone, and hit check mark. And now whenever you get in your car, it will automatically pause whatever media you were last listening to. It won't automatically resume playing. And that's how you could do that. Now this next setting is a tool that Apple gave us, and that is phone screening. Whenever you're receiving an unknown caller and there's a high chance it could be like a spam caller, you can have Apple Intelligence ask them why they're calling you and who they are. And then from there, you can decide if you want to pick up without your phone ringing if it's somebody who wants to scam you, as an example. To enable this new feature, you just need to go into the phone app by selecting the app section in the settings, and then search up phone. You'll see the phone app right here. Click on that, and then you just want to scroll all the way down until you find Screen Unknown Callers. By default, it'll probably be set at never. Select Ask Reason for Calling. This will allow Apple Intelligence to automatically ask more information on why they're calling you, all on your behalf, and then from there you can decide to pick up. So this is where you can enable that new feature. Another thing you want to enable over down here is filter unknown callers as well as spam. With these two enabled, that's when Apple Intelligence will pick up the call for you, and then you can visually see it on the screen on the conversation, and then from there you can decide if you like to pick up or not. Amazing feature, especially that it's free to use. And since we're down here, if you're ever left on hold, you can allow your phone to enable Hold Assist, which you can locate right above here. Hold Assist. By having Hold Assist enabled, wherever a caller leaves you on hold, you don't have to be on your phone waiting for them to get back to you. Your phone will automatically identify that, and as soon as the music stops and it detects the caller is trying to get a hold of you, a notification will pop up on your screen telling you they're getting back to you. This way you can resume your phone call conversation. Amazing feature, I highly recommend having this enabled. Now, a previously asked question on my previous video is my Safari. Why does my Safari look like this? You see, by default, it was recently updated where there was like a new design bar down here. To reverse back to the classic, more iconic look, which allows me to have quicker access to my multi-tabs as an example, just simply go into your iPhone settings, just search up Safari, and you'll see it right here. Click on Safari, and just scroll down. By default, it'll be probably selected with the compact, which is this look right here. Which, fun fact, you could do this to quickly open up all your tabs. It's pretty much confusing to use. I personally prefer just to enable the top. This way I have quick access to my bookmarks, share, as well as my back tabs. So that's how I'm able to run it like this. Now I know some people are not a huge fan of the glass effect on some of these toggles. You can reduce it by going into your settings and then go into the accessibility tab right in here. From here, scroll down until you find the display tab right here where it says display and text, and then you should see something called reduce transparency. This is it. Now your icons and stuff like that are less transparent, and some people might actually like this, but it doesn't eliminate it entirely, as you can kind of see, but it definitely does reduce it. And then if you own a pair of AirPods, it doesn't have to be like the new AirPods 3. These are just the AirPods 4, but even AirPods 3 may also have some of these features. You see, if we go into our settings after we are wearing the AirPods, and then you select on the AirPods that you're connected to, if you scroll down, you can see that we have camera controls. By toggling the AirPod stem once, pressing down on it like so, you could program it so it actually will take a photo. So by selecting one action, and when you launch the camera app, and then by simply pressing on the stem of the AirPod, it'll start a 3-second timer, you'll hear the feedback, and it will take a photo just like that. One of the new features that was integrated but it's disabled by default can be located in the settings. You see, by going in settings and you scroll down into battery, in the battery section, it will not only show you a briefer breakdown of everything that's consuming more power than normal, but we do receive one new feature in the battery setting, and that is adapted power mode. So by scrolling all the way down to the very bottom, if you tap power mode right here, this is where you can now enable the new adaptive power mode, and you can enable it so it sends you a notification whenever adaptive power is enabled, which you can see it right there. And this will typically pop up when your iPhone detects it's draining its battery a lot faster than it should. By having this enabled, it will adjust the background apps so it doesn't take up that much resources, delivering a longer lasting battery life under that single charge. Additionally, there's some new settings in the camera app, which will indicate and warn you ahead of time if the camera lens are dirty before taking a shot and regretting. It's like, dang it, maybe I should have wiped the lens. There's a notification that could pop up automatically to remind you. So by going in settings and going to the camera, and if you scroll down, you'll see a new setting down here where it says lens cleaning hint. Make sure this is enabled, so next time when you launch the camera app and you have to take a photo, if your lenses are dirty, your phone won't actually pop up a notification on top of here telling you clean up the lens before taking a shot for the best results. And lastly, another thing I highly recommend is just pick up a case for your phone. This is the case I've been using. I had it on my previous iPhone and it went through a lot. Camera's protected, everything is protected. I really do like this case. Highly recommend picking up like a big case like this, something like that, so you don't have to subscribe to Apple Care. Having a bulky case like this really does protect your device, especially this one with a built-in kickstand, and it does support MagSafe. I have this one linked in the description down below for those wondering what kind of case I'm rocking on my 17 Pro. But there you guys have it. Those are all the settings I highly recommend adjusting on day one as soon as you update to iOS 26 to really get the most out of your device. If you wish to watch more, maybe you'd like to see an in-depth video on all the new stuff that was integrated on the AirPods, I cover that in greater detail in this video over there. Thank you so much for watching.